It's interesting you speak about that build-up of confidence. Um, I do therapy, and I've also loved that quote by Hormozy, I believe he calls it the undeniable stack of evidence that you are who you say you are, or the
Okay.
undeniable stack of proof that you are who you say you are. I remember telling that to one of my therapists, and they retorted with, and what happens when that stack starts to dwindle and starts to go away?
Sure.
And it's a very difficult thing to balance in the sense of you should understand that you have worth as you are, but you should want to be better and you should put value in achievement. There's a lot of different avenues to approach the topic from. The one idea that I've started to like is the idea of come as you are, but don't stay as you are.
I like that.
Who you are is perfectly fine. You as a person is worthy, but you need to want better for yourself. And if you fail, you still have worth, but you gotta try. Another way to look at it is kind of like the yogi monk kind of mentality of it, where like you aren't anything. There's the labels good and bad are subjective, and identity is a flowing thing. So you just try to be good and hope that's enough. And I like those ideas a little bit, but I still struggle with this, like how much weight should you put onto your accomplishments and how much should come from internally?
So on my Instagram, the first thing you see is progress equals happiness. It's a quote by Tony Robbins, who's a motivational speaker and billionaire. And I've really found that kind of true to me in life. I really do get a lot of satisfaction from moving forward. I do think life is a little bit of a treadmill, and you've got to be walking forward to even be stagnant. And life takes maintenance. You've got to nurture the plant. You've got to feed the baby. You've got to give in order to receive. And I think that we have gotten a little bit soft these days to think that it doesn't take a bit of work. It's not to say that you shouldn't be proud of what you've done, but I do think that we should put a bit of focus on moving forward,
Yeah.
and that really does build confidence.
Yeah, I think it's the important thing is like who are you preaching to, right?
Sure.
And I think some people really do need to hear like take it easy. Those people often won't listen to that, right?
Yeah.
But those people also aren't watching your content. Those people aren't scrolling through Instagram to find out, oh, I need to take it easy. So they won't ever even hear your message. A lot of the people that find content online, the reason why self-help is so big is because it's directly. It's targeted directly to the people that need it the most.
Yeah.
It is the people that are online all the time. It is the people that are scrolling through Instagram, through TikTok, on YouTube. So they're kind of the ones that need it. And I like that idea you said, like you have to keep on moving to stay stagnant. It's almost equivalent to like the if a shark stops moving, it drowns fact. But the question is, how do you balance self-care in that? Because it's very easy to overrun the treadmill and now you're tripping over your own feet.
Sure. Like, to be active and to be busy and to be productive, it's kind of like that sine wave, that's that high frequency sine wave. And in order to kind of recover, you've really got to bring that oscillation to a minimal, and like have those slow moments. And I think it's about what you do in those slow moments. Like life often isn't what you do, but it's what you don't do, right? And I think a lot of people, when they're resting nowadays, they're still consuming. They still chipping away at the energy levels that they have. And I really would kind of challenge people to really try and slow down in terms of like just don't consume anything. Just sit in silence, sit in that weight, and slowly the weight gets a bit lighter, and you feel more energized.
And in terms of practical habits, the one that I've kind of picked up on recently, I'm reading Atomic Habits right now.
James Clear.
Fantastic book. I put off reading it for so long because so many people told me to read it that I was like, nah, it has to be overrated because everyone's recommended it. It's one of the best books I've read in a long time. And he has, those 4 points of how to make it doable. It's make it obvious, make it easy, make it rewarding, I can't remember the last one, but I'm on that first one, make it obvious. And the way he goes about explaining how your habits can become obvious to you is he says, think about what you do when you wake up. You wake up, you pick up your phone, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you hang your towel, and then he continues on like that. And he'll go through those habits and he'll tick off which ones are good for you and which ones are bad for you. And I started to try and apply it to my mind. It's like, try and notice my habits, because then it starts shifting, right?
Yeah.
And I'll notice, like, in lulls, I'll take out my phone. On the elevator, I'll take out my phone. Like at the stop, it sounds bad, but at a stop street in my car, take out my phone.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to, every time I have that urge to take out my phone, to stop.
Yeah.
You know, and I wonder how long it takes before the reprogramming begins, and where it finally becomes like, oh, okay, now I'm no longer feeling that urge to take out the phone. And I feel that to speak to what you're doing is, like I was saying, is people need to learn to observe when they're picking up the oscillations, and how to stop in the moment so they can turn down those oscillations again. I think that's a brilliant way of saying it.
For sure. And we touched on community earlier, and we touched on kind of recording what you do, keeping track of what you do. And something that I've found that helps me in times of really, like, you life goes in those ups and downs, and sometimes you're just in that slump and you just can't get out. It might be winter, you're going through a bad stage in a relationship and or work, and you're really just feeling down. And what I've done in those times is kind of like, sit in that silence, feel that weight, and then start writing down what the plan is. And I've always loved using Google Sheets and creating like live trackers.
Yes, yeah.
And you've got, all the things that you're trying to do or not do. And what I've done is created like an accountability partner and shared that document with that person and said, look, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm laying it all out. May not be pretty. I'm being vulnerable, but please help me keep track of this. And like, I found that like leaning on community in that form also works. Like, you don't have to go through those challenges alone. Like, you can lean on people even if they're not right there physically, but you can check in with your brother, with your mom, whoever. And I found that to be quite useful.
That's beautiful, Brew. I got a quote here that speaks a little bit to what you're saying here. This is by Carl Jung, who is a bit of a controversial figure, but he has a brilliant quote where he says, "If suffering really taught lessons, the world would be filled with only wise men. Pain has nothing to teach those who do not find the courage and strength to listen to it." And I love the idea of when you're feeling down, you sit down, you write down the plan. Because I always tell people that pain is a signal.
Yeah.
Sadness is a signal. Heartbreak is a signal. How do you respond to that signal?
100%.
And I like being super pragmatic about it. It's just who I am. And people laugh at this, but I have one of the big themes in my life right now is dating. It might just be because we're close to Valentine's Day, but I have like a note in my phone, and it just says failure on one side and says success on the other side. And every time I go try to do a cold approach, I just tick down whether it's a success or failure. And the thing is, the failures rack up very quickly. You know, like even if you're the best looking guy ever, you're probably gonna fail 70% of the time, just because the person's taken or not interested, or they might be gay, for all you know. But the one thing I noticed, like the first two, I kept getting in my own head about it, and I was like, maybe it's just like I'm not the attractive partner. Not attractive in the sense of like good looking, but like I don't seem like someone worth pursuing. Maybe I'm just like not confident enough, blah blah. But like 4, 5, 6, I'm just like, maybe it's them. Maybe they're just kind of boring. Maybe I'm not connecting with them because I don't have anything to connect with them with.
Yeah.
And it really occurred when like this one girl, she responded to it super poorly. And this is quite the embarrassing story. It's like I went, tried speaking to her. She didn't seem too interested, but she also seemed a little bit like awkward about it. So I was like, maybe she's just awkward. So I left her. And this is at the gym. And after a while, my eyes like glance back, and she's like pointing in my direction to her friend and kind of laughing.
Sure.
And I was like, nah, surely that's in my head. That can't be, that can't be what's actually happening here. Then I saw her a few days later at the same gym. And I went to go like say hi to her. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah. And she just was like, hi, and doesn't even like look at me. And I look back a few like minutes later, and she's pointing in my direction, laughing again. I'm like, okay, so no, she's just bitchy. She's just not like a person. And like, you think it would make me down, but I was just like, getting rejected by someone that's a bad person doesn't make me feel worse about things. You know,
At least you've gotten that feedback. At least you know, okay, don't invest any energy there.
Yeah.
Like there's better people in this world to invest energy into.
And the thing that I also learned from there is like, it's not me, right? It's more often not the person. Because even if she had been receptive to it, even if I got her number, maybe went on a date or something, I probably wouldn't want a second date. Probably wouldn't want a third date. I've saved myself time
100%.
by getting that rejection. So like, that's the thing, like let your pain teach you things. You know, the first few times it sucks. And after a while, you start to learn the lessons you need to learn and it sucks a lot less. And I tried to apply that to as many things as I can. Like work's not going well, that's a lesson in there. Your body's sore from something, there's a lesson in there. You had a fight with someone important to you, there's a lesson in there.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And also knowing that it's not too late to like deal with that problem. Like, you know, it may have been a while back, but you might like you might be able to resolve it or you might not have to, but at least you've processed that information and had to think about it. And something that I quite align with is Naval Ravikant's kind of mindset on meditation. And he speaks about meditation not being this kind of fancy thing where you've got to hold a pose and sing a mantra. It's just a state that you're in where you are present. And he kind of paints it like an email inbox. And you've got all these emails coming in and it may be overwhelming. I don't know the last time you checked your Gmail, but it's just probably a mess.
I keep mine clean.
I
have like 20 on there.
I actually recently did that like in the last year. But
for the average person, yes, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot to handle, and all these things come in, and like once you actually sit down and sift through it, you might realize 90% of it is garbage. You're carrying this burden, this weight of absolutely nothing of worth, and you could get rid of that. Then there's other things that you kind of open up and you realize, you know what, that expiry date was last year, and you can move on. You can close that chapter. You can delete that chat. Then there's other things that you could answer on the spot. Oh, quick there, boom, file away. Then there's other things that might take a bit of time. And he speaks about like meditation as being the state where you're kind of sitting and you're working through those emails. And over time, you get to a point where you're on top of it, you're managing it. And those are like those little signals of pain and joy and that feedback through life needs time to process. You need to sit and be intentional and be introspective and like really answer those questions. And I've found that to be super powerful. Of course, there's periods in life where you're on damage control, but I think it's important to realize that should be home base. That should be eventually you come back to that point.
Yeah, I think I heard a brilliant quote that kind of speaks to that, where it says, if you're not willing to take 10 minutes to think about your life, you might spend 10 years wasting your life. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed that clip from the interview of Augu. If you want to come onto the podcast, remember, all are welcome. Just fill in the form in the description and we'll see if we can have you on. If you want to watch the full podcast, click on the link here. If you want to watch anything else from the channel, click on the link here. Thanks for watching, guys.